gray shirt.
Well, he's gonna have pit stains.
Dude.
Lyndon, why don't you tell us about your walk through Walmart the other day?
Well, I was walking through the candy aisle, and I thought I seen some hot dogs in there, so I looked over, and sure enough, there's some gummy hot dogs down there. Oscar Mayer hot dogs,
They're like candy.
candy.
I wonder if they taste like hot dogs. Did you get one?
I didn't get some, but I should have.
Were they like gummy worms? Like
It looked
gummy
just like a hot
worms?
dog.
Like same size, proportional, and everything.
Same proportional, like 6 in a pack. Even said Oscar Mayer on it.
Why would you buy those though?
I bet they taste a lot like a hot
I thought
dog.
it was 8 to a pack.
Could be.
That's how it is in most hot dog packs. Yeah.
Have y'all ever wondered why they sell 10 hot dog buns but 8 hot dogs?
I have
You
wondered
got to
that.
feed
Yeah,
2 of them to the dog, man.
Because you got to buy more.
Well, I mean,
It's the same way
they give you
with the
too many buns.
hamburger buns.
That is true.
Huh.
Why do they do that?
It's beyond me.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, because you got to keep 2 of them in your in the cabinet that can turn moldy. I mean, right?
They're a little mildew
Every
on it.
single time. I mean, get a little bit of mold going on.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Yoders Talk. I am one of your hosts, Cory McClendon, here with our co-host, Clinton. I am really excited about the conversation today. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about work-life balance and how crucial it is in your life. And of course, we're always joined with some guests. I'm very excited about these 2 guys. To my left, I've got Lyndon Yoder, and then over here we got Brandon Lynch with us today. So welcome, guys. Y'all excited to be on today?
Stoked.
Excited to be here.
Great. Well, so for today's conversation, I kind of thought it would be kind of cool. To me, life comes in stages, and it really doesn't matter what kind of a stage you're in. But that really doesn't matter. But I kind of want to talk about what stage I'm in and each of these guys are in, just so we can kind of have some context into the conversation. So I'm married to my beautiful wife, Lauren, and me and her have 2 sons. We have Jeremiah that is 7, and we have our youngest, Wiley, that just turned 1. So Clinton, kind of talk to us about what stage of life you're in.
Yeah, I want to also welcome everyone. It's a exciting conversation today for me, something that I've struggled with throughout my short business life at times. But yes, I'm married 10 years last June to my beautiful wife, Jessica. She is everything to me. And then I have the crazy bunch. I got an 8-year-old son named Braxton that he's at the stage where he's trying to figure out everything, and it's a fun stage. And then I have a 5-year-old Waylon that just terrorizes his older brother, and but it's a fun time right now in life. So, but yeah, Brandon.
I am married, going on or almost at 2 years. 2 years will be this month, and we are expecting. So that'll be another chapter in the life, another adventure that we will encounter.
A little scary, but yet exciting.
A little scared. Yep.
Yeah.
A little scary.
I'm so fired up for it.
I know.
I can't wait. I'm like so stoked. I'm probably more excited about you having a kid than my own kids, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. What about you, Lyndon?
So, well, I'm single, and I like long walks on the beach and going to get ice cream. So.
I love it.
Yeah, when we talked about this, I kind of went to Lyndon about it, and I was like, hey, man, like I kind of want to highlight this, but like if you're not good with it, and Lyndon being who he is, he was like, so all them women are going to know I'm single now? And I was like, well, I guess so. And he's like, you'll have to beat them off with a stick. So, but Clinton, kind of set the conversation up for us, and let's dive in.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for me, kind of giving my story of why this subject is kind of precious to me is there was probably, I don't know, let's see, back in 2014, 2015, I think it was, there was a stage of my life where I thought that, everything was about working hard. Everything was about pushing for that next opportunity. And what happened with me in that was I lost my way when it comes to what was the most important, what should be the most important in our lives. And it kind of took me into a time where I felt like I failed my wife, I failed my son, and especially with the fact that my son was born in 2013, so actually 2014, my bad. I can't remember. He's 8 years old, so y'all can do the math. But through that time, my wife was at home. She had a newborn. She was trying to work through all the changes in her life, and I was just consumed with work, with trying to make something in life. And what happened was it really set me up to lose it.
Yeah.
And realizing that when your wife says, "Hey, I need help at home. I'm struggling," it really takes you back to what really mattered and what really mattered to me in that moment. And I have to admit, it was how I wanted people to view me when it comes to success, and I'm talking material success.
Yeah.
And really what brought me back was the fact that the only thing that we can leave here on earth is a legacy that can be carried on to the next generation, because these material things are gone when I'm gone.
Yeah.
I cannot take anything with me. The only thing I can take with me is basically me.
Yeah.
Or my soul. But I feel that it really brought me to a place where I put my priorities in order. And I see it so much today where people are struggling with that. And it's real. It's real. And because I get it, man. The bills don't get paid sometimes if you don't go get it. But so yeah, that's kind of where this conversation came from. And also in our business here, because of that, we've taken that stance. It's actually became one of our values. One of our core values is family, the balance of work life, or family work balance.
Yeah.
And it's precious to me to the point that that's probably the thing that I get onto my team about more than anything is when I catch them just 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I catch them here at work, and I'm like, "What are we doing?" I've been there. And so, yeah, that's kind of where it's come from. So, I love to hear from y'all on the fact of the different stages of life we're in. Where y'all see that. So, Brandon, what's your thought?
Well, I feel like, because like with me, we just found out we're having a kid. Like, it's just like, I feel like it may be like just a male thing. Like, hey, not only am I married, but now I got a kid that I want to provide a life for. So like with me, I'm like, I need to work. Like I want to work so that my kid can have something, so that he or she doesn't have to go without, and then but you've got to have that balance.
Yes. Yes.
I think sometimes when you do click over into dad mode, like there's a drive that comes with it. Like I've got to go, because I think everybody's had this thought when they were a kid or a teenager or something, like, when I'm a dad or I'm a mom, I'm not going to do it the way yeah, I'm going to leave it better than my parents gave me. And so there is a little bit of a drive that kicks in and says, okay, now I got to go, you know. But, so me being a dad for 7 years and then just now clicking over to having 2, there is a drive that happens, but there's also now I can look back with Wiley, my youngest, and go, man, did I do everything right with Jeremiah? And did I work too much with Jeremiah? Was I focused on this so much with Jeremiah? Which now, and I'll say this, Clinton, you guard this in my life more than I guard work-life balance in my own life. And so, like, I'm constantly being asked, like, hey, you know, don't stress yourself out. Like, don't, and which me and you have that conversation a lot.
Yeah.
And, but, like, I think it's important to understand, like, yeah, like, you do want to go get it. You do want to go do those things. But at the end of the day, I can always go make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing I can't get back is time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, with my sons, and with my wife, like, there's got to be times that we sit down and we kind of have that conversation of, like, hey, I've got to have people guard it in my life. Like, my wife is one of those safeguards. Like, she'll tell me, hey, put the phone down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, hey, you've been talking about work a lot tonight. Like, and it's having little checks like that are important because to me, like, my mind's constantly going. It's just it kind of throws it back in the front and go, hey, okay, whoa. She's
Mhm.
noticed it. I need to put the brakes on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I like that thought too, because I feel like we need the people in our lives to hold us accountable
Yeah.
in them areas. It's, you know, the Bible does say that we are our number one job is to provide for our family.
Yeah.
So there's times where we got to be careful that we don't use that as an excuse per
Yeah.
se to do that. So, but yeah, Lyndon, on your end, you're single, and I want to say this before I pass it to you. The other day I had a guy talk to me about that, and he was single, and he's a business owner. He's a single, and he told me, he said that he feels guilty if come 7 p.m. at night if he's not working on his business, and he knows that's not healthy. Mm-hmm. So from the single standpoint, that's just as important. So where's your mind on that, as far as, you know, being single, not having the kid that's wanting daddy at home to come home, but yet the importance of that?
Well, yeah, it's a little bit different for me. I'm not a business owner. I think the guy you're talking about is a business owner. But I think it comes back to, I don't know, a lot of people try to get their fulfillment out of their job. Mm-hmm. And if that's the only place you're getting your validation and everything from, then it's going to consume you, and you, like y'all talked about last week, you're going to have burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that it's a little bit, you have to have your checkouts, I guess, or your where you step back as much as we do, but maybe in a different way? Like, and what I mean by that is, like, the fact of, you know, for us, we kind of can check out with our family. Being single, do you kind of need to find that in something else, would you say?
A dog.
A dog?
A dog. I probably need a dog. I don't know.
I know you're big in the gym.
Try to go to the gym a few days a week, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
How many days you hit this year?
I'm at 105 or 6 for the year.
I got a long way to go.
You probably can't tell it very much.
Oh, no.
Hey, if you knew, if you know you back 8 years ago, you'd know the difference. So it's impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, and talking now, shifting a little bit to the side of still outside of work, and a balance even outside of work.
Yeah.
You know, hunting. I'm a big hunter, big time hunter. isn't there a balance there as well? Like, don't we need to be careful that it's not? I mean, I think balance is across the board, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like for me, I think there's the work-life balance of, hey, you've got too much work in your life, and then sometimes there's a little. I'm not saying this is not as likely, but sometimes there's a little bit too much family and work too, and so I think everything, it's a pendulum effect, and so we swing way over here, and we're a little out of balance. It's a little unhealthy, and then we swing over here, and it's a little unhealthy. Finding that right balance, and it's a thin line with everything we do. Like I said last week, I coach baseball. Around springtime, there's not a really good baseball family balance. It's baseball at my house, and we fight to have moments to have healthy balance. So I think everything we do, we need to find that healthy thing, but it is difficult to do at times.
Yes.
But the thing is, the first step I would say is just become aware of it.
Yes.
That's your first.
Yes.
The first thing you've got to see is like, hey, I've got something that's unhealthy in my life, and then take the necessary steps to kind of do it.
Yeah.
But
well, and I got an event coming up this next week. I'll be out of town, and me and my wife have discussed this months ago. So she knows that I'm gonna be gone. My sons know Daddy's not going to be home, and the fact of it is letting them be aware, letting them know ahead of time what's coming down the thing. Communication, I think, is very important in work-life balance. Communicating with your spouses, communicating with your children, and making sure they know that, hey, Daddy is, next week I'll actually be going to Master Series to work on me, basically. I got a lot of issues, but just to improve, find areas that I do need to work on, because I know I have them. And so, for her, she told me this last night. She said that, I hate that you're not going to be here.
Yeah.
But she said, but I'm extremely glad and blessed that you're taking that time to step away and to clear your head and focus on me a little, and focus on my growth, because there's a side of it where we tend to, especially as leaders, we tend to always want to be helping others, always want to see growth in others, but there's a balance in that as well, where I need to work on me. And so stepping away from work again to do that is a form of I feel like is a form of work-life balance as well. And I encourage that. I encourage that to anybody out there, that if take them moments, because we get this fog over us when we get so consumed with work. We get blinded by chasing the next dollar, or chasing the next moment, chasing the next thing of success, that a lot of times we don't even realize when we don't have a good balance of work life. And that's why I said earlier about the thing of making sure you have people in your life that can hold you accountable, that can call you out, and be willing to allow them to call you out in that.
And we've not always done this right, like you said.
Yes,
like with
yes.
you, I wasn't here, but me and Brandon have been friends for a long time, and I can remember when Yoder Metal really started taking off. I would be, I'd say, hey man, you want to hang out? And he'd be like, hey, I got to work, or whatever. We hadn't always been great about this, but the thing is, we're evolving, we're changing, and in today's society, especially with the generation that's kind of our age, and then even below us, it's a crucial thing for them. Like, they want that work-life balance in their lives, and like I say, I've not always done a great job with it, but it's almost like I see this mountain of stuff I got to get done, and the way I justify it is I got to complete these things to get off my head so I can be a good dad. And that's the thing. A lot of times there's those things, and then there's outside pressure too, right? You have a manager or someone that's over the top, and they're really, really on you. I know in past employments for me, you know, I was salary at one point, and there was no work-life balance. You know, I can distinctly remember being at one of my son's baseball games and getting a call, and, you know, trying to be respectful, you know, to your employer and saying, like, picking up the phone and saying, hey, I'm at my son's baseball game, and they don't care. You know, it's all about what I need you to do these things for me right now. You know, and so it's so nice to have someone that guards that more than I do. And, you know, like last night, I was going to text you about something, about the podcast. And in my head, I said, no, just text him in the morning, because you've set that standard for us. You know, hey, it's not pressing. It's not, nothing was going to be crazy. We could have had the conversation in the morning, and we did. And, but sometimes those little things in our head, we just feel like we justify them and things like that. And we really just need to understand what's important. And for me, something you said earlier, we need to understand what is really success in life.
Yes.
And so, am I successful if I make a lot of money and I'm doing my job and I'm the best at whatever I do? Or am I successful because I have a healthy family? You know, my sons, because here's what's coming down the line one day. One day I'm going to leave this earth. I know it gets a little morbid there for a minute, but one day I'm going to leave this earth. And so my family's going to be at my funeral, right? Do I want my sons, do I want Jeremiah and Wiley to be standing at my casket and say, you know, Daddy always worked hard at work, and, you know, that's really good and that's great? Or do I want my sons to say, Daddy never missed a baseball game? You know, Dad was always there for me when I needed him. What's true success in your life? And truly, I feel like that person can only define that for them. Like for me, it's being a dad.
Taking an inventory of, if everything was taken from me today, bam.
Yeah.
As far as material things, what would I have?
Yeah.
What would I have? If everything was, you know, taken, I have my family. They're going to be there. So if you view it from that angle, it changes a little bit of the importance of having to just always grind it out and grind it out and grind it out. And you know, Brandon, you remember back in our you were one of my drivers back in the Southern Premier days. How does someone create a work-life balance when they carry a job like that? You know, it's a job where you can make really good money, but you have to go. You're working from, you know, daylight to dark.
Me, I was working, you know, I got there a little late.
Yeah, you worked from about 9 to dark.
9 to 9. But with Lyndon, like in the area of life he's in right now, a part of when I was working that job, I was single at one point, and you know, that was when I had my own truck, had my own trailer. I was doing it under you, but I had my own equipment. And you know, I would get there in the morning, get loaded up, and I would stay out till 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then I would get home, and hey, if it's time to change the oil on my trailer or on my truck, I'd work on my truck, work on my trailer, do stuff like that. So it's hard when you, especially when you're single, when you don't have anybody to say, hey, it's time to come in, it's time to come home.
Time to check out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
Yeah. Because there's jobs out there that are that way, and I want to acknowledge that. I get the fact that there's jobs that do carry a lot more of a maybe a time-consuming, especially stages of the year where it is more time-consuming. How do we work through them types or them time frames of the year when it is a little bit more, a little extra, a little busy, and there has to be more time put in? How do we need to kind of put that in perspective? Is it something we need to, have them conversations leading up to that with our spouses, with our family? What's your thought on that, Cory?
But I mean, all right, let me.
Yeah.
Cory, you said something earlier. You asked several years ago, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And I said, "No,
Yeah.
I got to work." That was during the time when we were up at the old metal shop, and we were so behind. We were working, first shift, and then the guys in the office would go in the shop
Work second shift.
and work second shift. So, what do you do? Because you have.
Well, as talking it from a business owner standpoint, that is, or business owner, manager, CEO, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're doing, I think that's where you have to step in, and you have to do your part as the leader to help the team understand that, hey, this is only a stage, and here is the plan to get this stage, get out of this stage. This is what we're doing to overcome that.
Yeah.
Because, and let your team, and then also there's another side of it. If your team's going to have to do that, you better be right there beside them.
Yeah.
And you were.
You better be right there beside them. It's not. It is. You see this so often, where a leader, and some days I don't even like to call them leader. I'd say a boss. I think there's a difference. Will demand all these things of, I need 14, 16 hours a day out of you for the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and work a weekend as well. And you catch them a photo on Facebook at 2:00 in the afternoon, and they're on the golf course with their buddies.
Yeah.
How is that even right? And I think in that moment, maybe you can't always be there right beside them, but you need to be working and trying to figure out a way to get these guys back to a balance.
Yeah.
And I love that our team is always, when we get to a point where it is busy, it's stressful, everybody will step in, and that's where our team is so powerful. But I think it comes back to the fact that each person knows that this is a short season, and every single one of us is going to do our part to get that balance back, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the importance of it being part of our core values. It's something that's in front of us every day. It's something we discuss every day, and it allows us to not get caught up in it, and continue to create a healthy balance there. In that. So.
And speaking of that, Lyndon, you could probably talk about this a little better. We've created systems now that doesn't happen. That we know down just talking our business, and we know exactly how many feet of metal is too much now for one day, and so kind of the things that we do to kind of make sure that we're being good stewards of not just the money that we're entrusted with, but we're being good stewards of time too. So talk to us a little bit about some of that, how we put some safeguards on it.
Yeah, there's definitely things we put in place, but going back a little bit to we were talking about having to work the day shift and then coming right back for second shift and working the night shift for a short period of time. If we hadn't done that, we'd still be in the same place. We're in a way different place now than what we were then. And I think we all knew that we weren't going to be able to keep up doing that for really long. We knew we had to to grow, get, bigger building and all that stuff. So, we kind of had that vision that we'll put some hard work in, and we're gonna grow. Company's gonna grow, and it's gonna open a lot of opportunities for us. And it really did.
It did. Yes, it did.
Big
Absolutely did. Yes.
And we're still doing things, putting things in place that, and some things don't work. We got to change it up, do different things.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to the last week's podcast where I believe y'all talked about your employees buying in. I mean, how many businesses you going to go to where your first shift employees are going to willingly stay late till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night to work that second shift just to get the orders done to make your customers happy.
Yeah.
And that definitely goes into that purpose and the fact of that there's a reason behind what we were doing, and like Lyndon shared, the thing of creating them systems and them steps, I think is vital to a balance, and that's vital to a growth of a company. But when you reach stages, you in growth of a business, there's always busier moments, and that's what we went through.
Yeah.
We still today have them busier moments, but the difference is because of what we went through, because of how we had to do it, because of the long nights, we have put in safeguards to see it coming before it hits us.
Yeah.
And we prepare ourselves. It's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of planning that's been put in place. I hear it all the time, and it's a blessing to me is Jimmy down there, COO, he'll check in with the team, check in with how they're feeling. Do they feel overwhelmed? And like last night, I heard a conversation he was having that just checking in. Hey, are we going to be able to run that footage? He's looking at ready 36 hours ahead, 48 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to run this today? What do we need to do to make sure, because taking care of our customers is also very important.
Oh yeah.
They're if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't exist. So we need to always take care of them. But the systems that we've put in place to protect that and to really help us, put that into perspective. It's been a blessing to see, just for me, especially from the outside. I'm not there in the operations every day, and so. Then there's a side of things, like right now there's an employee or a team member of mine that is they're building a software for our company here at the barn shop, and in that moment we've had them conversations that, hey, this is a stage of life, this is a stage of time that I may have to put a little bit more time in. I may have to, but even in that, what I've told him is that, because he mentioned this, he said his coding is better when he does it late at night.
Yeah.
So we worked out this deal that, okay, if that is the case, I'm okay with that, but there has to be a balance on the other end. Like what I mean by that is, if you need to come in at lunch, then come in at lunch. Spend that morning with your family.
Yeah.
And he may be putting in overall more time than it typically does, but it's a stage of time.
Yeah.
And so again, getting back to that, there are moments in our lives where we are busier.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to the fact that we communicate with the people in our lives of what's happening. And then, this is another thing that I think is vital. After them stages, don't allow it to snowball into another stage and another stage and allow it to become an excuse. Take some time off to really, really say, over the next, y'all gave me grace over the last 2 months because of my busy season. Now, Daddy, now Daddy's going to be there for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. We're going here. We're going to do that. I want y'all to know that y'all are what's important to me.
Yeah.
But it was just a busy moment in my life.
Yeah, that reminds me of a quote I heard the other day. It said that you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. and I think there's a lot in that.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us have. I feel like I'm a better person than what I was a few years ago, and I've definitely seen it in y'all.
Absolutely.
And I know y'all are working on yourselves too.
In saying that, like, it's a culture thing, for all of us to get better, because it makes us better. And like I was reading statistics, people that actually achieve the work-life balance, they're actually 20% more productive than people who don't. So you've got all these things that happen, and we all get busy. Like, I mean, for me, just a couple months ago when we were filing taxes, me and you were both about to pull our hair out, and talked to my wife, hey, I'm going to be working some this weekend, and that's fine. Well, a month later we went on vacation, and it's so nice to, like, I got one email that I had to respond to when I was on vacation. Everything else I was checked out. I was with my family. The boys probably made me want to be at work, because they're feral, but
And I want to warn something here, that being at home isn't being present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you leave work, well, I'm gonna leave work and go home, just because I want work-life balance, doesn't mean you have work-life balance.
Yeah.
What work-life balance is, when I do get home, in a sense, my second job starts.
Yeah.
My second job starts. That's when I, especially with us that have children, and Brandon, whether you have a boy or a girl, there's going to be a time where you have to, in a sense, you're going to be tired. You're going to be wore slap out. Let me tell you something. Them boys meet you at the door. That little girl meets you at the door. Whatever it is, for me, it's boys. And they are fired up.
Oh, yeah.
They are ready to go.
Yeah.
And you want to bust their bubble? I don't want to get emotional here, but you want to bust their bubble. Look at them and say, look, Daddy's too tired. Yeah. Dude, it will quickly get to a point where they stop asking.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and it's tough when, especially my 8-year-old now. I'm their hero, and I think that is for any sons looking up to their dads. But at that, especially at that age, I know there's going to come a time where he's probably not going to like me, but that's what it is. We'll get to that stage yet.
Yep.
But yeah, just the fact of when I get home, they're expecting Daddy now to spend time with them, whether it's outside throwing the football, whether it's outside, whether it's wrestling, whether it's, they expect me now to be there and to give them that attention and give them that time. And I think it's very important to not check out when you get home.
Yeah.
Check in.
Yeah.
Check in when you get home. When you leave work, you're kind of checking out. Whatever you're doing, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, give it your all in that moment. And I'm not. I will also say, I'm not trying to talk to people that have, there are moments where I am extremely tired, and I think that our sons and our daughters need to understand that there are moments that we need to rest as well, and I feel like it's good that they have moments of quiet time themselves alone, because they don't need to always have to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Because I think that can lead to more big challenges later in their life. So I think that's a balance in itself there.
Yeah.
Everything we do is a balance. There's a quote that I'm going to read real quick here that's I really like. It says the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities.
Yeah.
So where are your priorities? that's kind of where I like to go with that. Where are your priorities in life? Is it, we always say that we're going to work hard. We're going to work hard for our family. Hold up, be careful with that, because I think you can quickly get your priorities to be about the work, 100%.
Well, I mean, look at it from a different point of view, the work-life balance. You're at work X amount of hours, and then you're sleeping X amount of hours. The rest of the time is spent, being with your family, hunting, whatever you want to do. That's really not a balance. You're working and you're sleeping most of the day.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not really about balance. It's about setting those priorities.
Yes.
Like what's the most important for me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about being intentional.
Yeah.
To like, and it's so hard, especially like I say this a lot with men. And think about it. Like every time you meet a new person, or meet a new guy, and you start the dreaded small talk, where you're like, hey, or whatever, and then you go, what do you do?
Yeah.
That's like literally the second question after the name is like, what do you do for work and stuff. And so a lot of times I feel like men they identify with their job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like there's this whole thing, and like, yeah, I'm very proud of what I do. Like I am. I mean, if you've been around me out in public long enough, me working at Yoder Metal's gonna come up. Like, but I truly believe I'm a natural like salesman, so I'm gonna talk about our products and how we can do such a good job for you. But like, I identify with that, but I think sometimes we need to change how we identify. That's not what defines me. Like number one, it's what God says about me, what He has designed me to do in this life. I'm a husband, and this is just me. I love my kids. I do. I love Lauren more. I'm just gonna.
Which you should.
Just gonna say it, and if people don't like that, sorry. I love my boys, but I love my wife more. And then it's my boys, and me and Lauren talk about all the time with the 1-year-old. I told her the day he was born, I said, you got him for 2 years, and then that boy becomes mine, because I've got to make a man out of him. And so already in that, I'm trying to let her know that yes, I'm going to be around him, but she can dress him up with the frou-frou outfits or whatever she wants to do for the first 2 years. But at 2, that boy becomes mine, because I've got to make a man out of him. And so being intentional of like, hey, I've got a job to do with my family. It's my job to raise. I'll say it like this: it's my job, honestly, to train my replacement.
Yes.
Because like that's the with those kids. One day I'm gonna replace my dad in my family, and one day those boys are gonna replace me. And so I've got a job to do. And don't be so wrapped up with what you do that you forget about a whole nother purpose. Because I think that's one of the things with society today is we have a lot of kids that have grown up now, and they don't have those dads that taught them what it's really like to be a man and what it's really like to come home and be intentional with them.
Uh-huh. Yes, I agree with that. I want the another thing too is, which you hear it a lot. I'm not at that stage. I don't think none of us are at that stage yet, where they say you blink and they're grown up. Your kids are grown up. I would say that 8 years have went by so fast that it scares me so bad. I of course I haven't got to a point where I can say that I look back and they were 20. Yeah. But I look back and 8 years have just escaped me. And so I warn people that, there's going to be a day when your son, your daughter are going to grow up to be an adult. That's going to happen for me. It hasn't yet. And so I don't want to sit here and give advice because I don't really have it. But I hear what my father said. I hear what, people, older generation, what they say about that. And so far, I'll just be honest, there was a time I didn't think they were very smart. But now I'm realizing that, oh, wow, they're a lot smarter than what I thought. And I think that's going to continue. But they say it all the time. They say, don't blink because they'll be grown. There's a song out there like that, I think. And so be careful to blink and wake up one day, and the worst thing I could ever hear is my son say, wow, Dad, look at all you've built.
Yeah.
But I don't want nothing to do with it because you've just, it has consumed you, and I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that for my life. I see this happening a lot today where a father that has, or a mother that has been consumed with what they do, that them children grow up to a point where they, in a sense, despise their parents. There's a lot of hurt there. There's a lot of things that go on, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
There's something that there's, like they say, up to 10 or up to 12 is the fun times that you can kind of be, you kind of are their friend somewhat, but yet you're trying to direct them. So you're a parent, and there's a difference between a friend and a parent. We all know that. There's discipline things that have to happen and so forth. And then they go into a stage of where they kind of hate you.
Yeah.
And then they go into a stage where they truly become your friend.
Yeah.
And I'm talking once they're older. So where they will not be your friend is if you didn't spend that time with them in the first 12 years to really help them understand life.
Yeah.
And help them to truly give them direction, because I'm going to tell you something. I know from my experience at 13, 14, and 15, I knew everything.
Oh yeah.
Dad didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Dad knew absolutely nothing. But I look back now at 31, and I see where my dad's always spent quality time with me from 1 to 13, and then he tried to spend time with me, but of course I thought I had more important things going on. But today, to me, my dad is one of my best friends.
Yep.
I can go to my dad about anything, and he listens, he cares, and we have fun together now.
Yeah.
We go on hunting trips. And so I thank God that he's given me a father that did have a healthy balance.
Yeah.
I remember there was times where, back when Yoders Talk started, we had 5-6 employees. There was a guy named Wesley Steele, and I'll call him out because he was a big influence in my life, and in a positive way. And when my dad will tell him, he'd be like, "Hey, in 2 weeks, me and the boys we're checking out for a whole week.
Yeah.
We're going to the hunting land. Can you handle this for us?" And when I would say my dad would check out, he would check out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he probably, just like I do today, he probably went around and made them phone calls when I wasn't watching, but he was present in that moment, and I knew he would always be present in that moment. And he taught me so much about hunting, and I have so many memories, positive memories of that balance that my father had, and I hope that as a father, I can continue carrying that legacy.
Absolutely.
Down. And I encourage you, Brandon. You're going into that stage. Don't miss them moments. And I want to encourage my team, and my team will hear this too. If anybody on my team, whether it be Woodworks, Yoder Metal, it doesn't matter. If you ever feel that the balance is getting too much towards work, please come talk to me. Please do, because that was probably one of the worst things that I feel like I could do as a leader is allow my people to get so consumed in their work that they lose out on what's important.
Yeah.
And yeah, we need to power through. Got anybody that's listening, find that balance. If you can't, go get help to find it, because there's people that can help you through that. My coach always helps me in that a lot. Like, you know, what are you doing? Are you is your balance, do you have a healthy balance of that?
Yeah, and it's so important. It's gonna change your life.
Yes, it will.
Like
Absolutely.
it's you know, like I say, just to give you some practical steps. So I'm big on practical steps. Like I say, if you feel like you have a unhealthy work-life balance, like, recognize it, find some accountability with it, kind of see what, highlight what is your success, what at the end of your life, what legacy are you leaving, and then just create safeguards around those things. That's what, to me, it's kind of helped me with my life. And Clinton and probably Brandon and Lyndon can probably tell you I don't always do it right. There's a lot of times where I'll go home, I have a work laptop, and I'll hop on there and do stuff, and I have to tell myself, like, if Clinton knew I was doing this, I would probably get,
Yes, I would.
I'd get a little. I'm probably gonna. He probably didn't even know about that. I'm probably gonna have to hear about that here in a little bit. But, but finding those and is super important.
Yes, it is. There's a company that's a very large company. I won't mention their name, but they have a strict policy that if someone is there, they kind of give like a 30-minute leeway, because there are moments, but they'll come in there and they'll basically, in a nice way, escort them to the door, and say, look, go home, be with your family. I think that's very good. Business owners, allow your people to have a healthy balance. It's so important to them, to their mental health, to their family's mental health, and the production of your team will increase dramatically by that. Mm-hmm. No question about it. And we got that's experience directly in our company. When we created that, I think our production went up 25%. I really feel like it went up about 25%. From what I've seen, we are producing more than we ever have. We actually have a few less team members, and the only difference I see that we've done on that side is to give that balance and allow people to breathe a little. Because this week I had a very important meeting coming up that, I'll be honest, I was so stressed out. And I was working on it. I told my wife that, she's seen it. She even asked me what's going on, because she could just tell that it was a big deal to me. And what was so crazy, over that 3 days leading up to that meeting, I didn't get much done.
Yeah.
I didn't get much done at all. I look back over them 3 days, and so what that told me was that if an employee is stressed out over something, they're not going to get their production is going to drop dramatically.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, I just find that balance. It will be worth it. It may seem that there is no time to put that balance in place in whatever walk of life you're in right now, but step back, breathe, look at your priorities, figure out what that is, and write it down. And put a true plan in place of, these are the steps that I'm going to take to bring that balance back in my life. Write it down. We have a thing saying here, and I'll say it. Y'all hear it so much. A plan is not a plan unless it's wrote down. Mm-hmm. And I believe that. A plan is not a plan unless it's wrote down. Write a plan up. Then show it to a friend, show it to a pastor, show it to a coworker, and be like, hey, this is my plan. Can you hold me accountable to this plan? If you see me, slide off this plan, please call me out on it. Please help me get back to that. And it will take time. It's going to take time to really get that balance back. But when you do, you'll realize really quick that all that stress that you thought would never leave does leave. And you're getting just as much and more done. Mm-hmm. We have contractors that walk into Yoder Metal at times that are just, you can just tell that are just overly stressed out. And it actually burdens me to see that, because, it messes with their health. It messes with, and it'll ruin your life. We'll just say that. So, but I hope that today's episode really will touch someone, and where they can truly find that balance in their lives. Brandon, Lyndon, I really appreciate y'all coming on today. Cory, as always, thank you for giving y'all's input. And everybody out there, just give us some feedback. If you see things that are on the podcast that you would like us to discuss, some questions or anything like that, just feel free to make them comments on the channel, and we'll consider discussing that. We take any feedback that's positive to us, whether it be negative, and so just we encourage that. And just always remember that you can find us on YouTube. Spotify is not up yet. We are working on that, and there'll be other platforms we'll announce as we go through this process. There will be an episode released every Wednesday through the rest of the year, Lord willing, unless something comes up. But that is the plan, to release an episode every week. We will be bringing on some special guests. We've got some exciting things that are in the works. Some exciting guests that will be possibly brought on in the next few months. So just keep us in your prayers as we go through this. That again, God can be lifted up in everything we do, everything we say, and that we can truly help affect lives in a positive way. And just always remember, again, right above me, right over here, always lead with purpose, and it will change your life. I promise you it will change your life. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.